And we are live again with another Snappy Chat. I'm super excited to be back. And I can't tell you how super happy I am to have one of my favorite people here today, Claudia. I'm so happy to have you. We've known each other for a few years through the Hands of Business, and it's been so great to keep in touch with you and see you almost every week. We have chats, which I love. And what I love is that you are so honest and so great at really helping me come home to myself because I love doing your drawing and color classes. And it's such a great opportunity to come back to ourselves and really learn and sit with who we are and difficult emotions and working through them through art, which I love. And it was something I did during the lockdowns as well when I had a accident with my knee and I couldn't do anything. And that's how I got back to drawing. And we got Royce here. Great to see you, Royce. We're so happy to have you here. So I'm super excited you're here. And I always love catching up with you and hearing about your little dog who's 18 years old now. And a little bit dementia perhaps, but he's still alive and we'd love that. But over to you, Claudia. Please tell us a little bit more about yourself because I can carry on about you.
Sure. Well, first of all, I want to say thank you for inviting me. And I love and I appreciate the friendship we have built. And this is one of the beauties of technology. So yes, thank you for that. And about me, well, I'm an artist, not always. It's been the last 12 years. And it's you know how sometimes when we go through a difficult transition in our lives, like either our kids leave home or a breakup or a change of career, like we just feel sort of lost and we just need to go back to that place where we feel safe, comfortable. Well, I went through something like that. It was emotional distress because of an actual breakup and my son leaving.
Yeah.
And it took me back to art, and unknowingly that space became not only a place where I found the peace that I so desperately needed, but it also began to give me clarity in what I wanted to do, the transformation that I wanted to go through my life. So it helped me get clarity in where I was going to go. So it started giving me more resilience in a way. That's what we were talking about. And
Yeah.
some ease. I think the ease that it gave me is the resilience that I started building. So because of that, art has become not just something that I love and enjoy and do, but it's become of like, how do I support, guide women to use art intentionally to reconnect to themselves and start letting go of possibly what they've been suppressing for so long and start discovering more of themselves so they can actually gain the peace, because I think a lot of us need that, or clarity, or something that's going to help them move to a better place emotionally so they can just achieve the things they want to achieve. So that's the goal with what I do.
I love what you do. And just going to say hi to my friend Rob as well. Great to see you from sunny Sydney. As you can see behind me, we got a bit of sunshine here going on today. It's warm and hot and sunny. But I
Mm.
know what you're saying because I've gone through it too. And I found that when we are living in a world where yes we can express ourselves, but often when we're going through something really difficult or transition or just unfocused, unsure where we're going in the future, I think many of us has been taught, like you're saying, just to like, let's just push it down, let's not really sit with it. We're like, okay, yeah, I'm feeling this, I'm gonna ignore that kind of thing and just move on. And lo and behold, we get to a certain age and suddenly there comes a point where it's almost, I don't know about you, but it felt like suddenly I couldn't push it down anymore. It was like it had to come out. It had to sort of resurface for me to look at some of it, to clear out that whatever we got stuck in our stomach, in our body, in our heart. Yeah.
Yes.
And for me, it was 10 years ago when I burned out, and suddenly I don't know what happened. I just couldn't take another job. I walked away from a job, sat down, and I cried for 10 weeks. No, 3 months, I think it was, looking
Wow.
at bloody, what was that? Tori Spelling with her husband being unfaithful to her. And here I
Oh,
am crying, and I'm like, okay, this is not what I am normally. Yeah. Something is going on.
yeah.
And through personal development, of course, but also coming back to, I used to love drawing. I'm not a great drawer, but I just loved coloring and stuff like that. And I started coming back to you. So when I met you and you said, well, this is what I looked at your art behind you. I mean, look at it, it's so beautiful. And look at my, let's just look at my logo too that you designed for me. So anyone, this is the person behind my brand. So thank you so much for that. But there comes a point where we actually have to deal with stuff. And when I met you and you're like, this is what I'm doing, and I'm doing your color class, it's just like, it's such a great place to allow ourselves to actually perhaps bring up some of those difficult emotions, because you create such a psychological safe space. So it's allowing us to actually bring up some of those emotions and not ignore them, but not get, like sometimes emotion can take us down to the point where we can't breathe, but allowing us to sit with them without being overwhelmed by them. And
Yes.
I feel that that's what you are so great at, and your coloring classes and what art can do for us is allowing us to sit with difficult things without having to push it down or without getting overwhelmed. And that builds resilience, because emotion don't necessarily just disappear in one day, right? Especially when they're hard, difficult things. So it takes time, and this is coming back to resilience.
Yes. And when you were talking about like pushing things down, I think, as adults, there's a lot that we have like pushed down, that we have suppressed, that we
Mhm.
haven't dealt with. Back then, during that period, that when I started creating art, I went through a big transformation. I had to deal with past trauma. Like everything started coming up for me as well. So luckily, and I don't think anything's by accident, but art was there to help me through that process and dealing with those childhood traumas that just started popping up. And that's where I find that that's where healing happens, when we finally let it come up. And one of the beautiful things about art is that you can let certain things come up. You can have healing experiences. So it's not like, and what I do, just to make it clear, is not therapy. It's
Yeah.
just about really connecting to yourself, being with yourself, allowing certain feelings come up, and just understanding what it is. Like I know, like when women have had the experience of my art program, things have come up on their own. So people ask me, are you a coach? Are you a therapist? I'm not any of that. I just find myself like I'm guiding people to use what they enjoy intentionally, to reconnect to themselves, to be with themselves, and allow the answers just to show up for you. So I'm not there to tell anyone you got to do this because it's going to help you with this and that. I'm just there to help you just explore. And that's what I love about it, because that's how it helped me. And nothing against therapy. I've done very little therapy and I didn't like it back when I tried it. But sometimes some people don't want to go through therapy, and this is kind of like a step, or it can complement. Because I know certain
Yeah.
people that have been with me, they go to therapy and they love complementing, putting them together. But it's a way to reconnect. I believe that we live in a world that there's so much noise, there's so much confusion, and there's no time for anything. And art can just become a tool to support what we need. So I like to do it through coloring. This year, I decided to teach drawing, which I never really thought that I would be a teacher. And I was like, well, through drawing, I can't really help people. But I've seen that, yes, I can help people. And that's how I started. So at the end of the day, is being in that place where you feel safe, where you can calm down, like you said, when you had the accident and
Yeah.
you just started drawing. And I remember you had a friend that was in your Snappy Chat before, that she was going through burnout, and she picked up a coloring book and it changed her life. So it is a tool that it helps us. It's not just something that we enjoy, but it actually helps heal us. And that's my intention with my art. I want to be able to help people heal and just be in a better place emotionally and mentally.
And I love that, because it's very empowering. What you do is empowering. You're not saying you need me to do it. You're just showing you here the tools, right?
Yeah.
And you can use them yourself, and anyone can pick them up and do it themselves. But often, it's nice to be in a space where you give yourself time and permission for it, because otherwise it becomes, I'll do it later. I need to do it later. Like the gym, yeah?
Yeah.
We'll do it later.
And what happens?
And I think there is a level of consistency that is required to build up that resilience, which is also what's needed in business, correct?
In everything, yeah. And when you were saying that, it just came up to me like it's a way to love ourselves. It's part of that self-care. Like I find like when we love ourselves, we will take care of ourselves. We need to take care of ourselves mentally, emotionally, physically. That's why the gym is important. But through art, it's a way to take care of ourselves. Even like 30 minutes, they say 15 minutes daily can make a big impact. I don't think I can spend 15 minutes, it's too short, but I will give myself at least half an hour for coloring, more time for drawing.
Yeah. Yeah,
But
and
it
it's like becomes a safe space and a happy space, and we can all create that for ourselves, which is why it's so beautiful. Versus saying art calms your runaway emotions. Absolutely,
I love that, yeah. I love
that's a big word.
Royce. I love everything Roy says because he has just a way of saying things.
I know it's beautiful the way he speaks in terms of saying things, and never a boring moment either in his post or in his email newsletters either. So all compliments to him for his marketing abilities and personality, I should say too. It's not just marketing. And
Yes.
in terms of we're in business and we try and help each other in business, right? And we can be honest here. It's not that easy to build a business out of pure passion and love. And you can either go, okay, what's going to make money and go for that. But you and I think, are both very aligned in terms of creating something that is lasting, that has some legacy to it, that really is connected to our heart in terms of what we give out to others, which is
Mhm.
easier said than done when we want to make money too, which is important, right? And
Yes.
building something from scratch that isn't necessarily out there already, or making it different and unique. And so with that in mind, what's going on with you and what are we going to do for 26? We were talking about this before we came on. 20, we're almost at the end of the year, yeah.
We are, yeah.
Again.
That's it. Gosh.
And sometimes you can look back and go, where did I get to at this point? It doesn't look like much, but a lot of the work often happens in the background. A lot of the work is not just, of course, the business, but it's also work on ourselves. So where are you at the moment for 26? What's coming up for you?
A lot of new things. No. Well, a lot of new things with a lot more clarity and more focus. That's the intention. Especially building an art business is not easy. Most people think like, oh my God, like, is your work in a gallery? People don't think, they think of art, they just think exhibition galleries, but there's so much more to it. And like I said, my passion is like, how do I use art for well-being, for wellness? So, and okay, let me go back. That is my passion, but like, how am I going to make it my business? And there's different ways. So the one way that I decided to focus right now, it's online, because that way I can reach a lot of different people, and it goes with my goals of living in different states or possibly a different country. So that's one of my things. And I just got to start preparing more for relaunching the programs that I was doing. And it comes down like to having the right people around, especially technology keeps changing so quickly. So it's
Yeah.
like, how do you stay up to date with that? And how do you have the right people that can actually take care of that so I can do what I love, connect with people instead of having 10, 20 hats over my head and not being able to focus on one and being really good on one. So
I,
those
yeah.
are the things that I'm planning to organize for this new year because I want to bring back my eight. It was my 7 week program. I'm going to make it 8 week. It used to be called Uncover the Goddess Within Future Self Portrait. I think I'm going to be changing the name, but that's more of like creating a future self portrait based on like how do we want to see ourselves based on self concept.
Yeah.
What are our thoughts, our beliefs? How is that affecting the person we want to become more of? So I'm really excited about that. I'm going to continue my drawing lessons. I created a drawing community recently on Discord. So that was a big learning. I'm still learning how to deal with Discord, which I love it, but I want to continue that community. I want
This
to
corner, I
get,
haven't been on there yet.
yes, I like it. So my goals for 2026 is build community, is just
Yeah.
have a place. Not only will people draw where we do the coloring and I can bring the program in, but let people be together. I was telling you before that I didn't think I could help people emotional through drawing, but as I'm working with people right now, I realize how much I'm helping them. I had once in an eye drawing class this woman pretty much crying, saying like, "Oh my God, I needed it so badly." And I didn't understand it. But then later on, I was like, okay, I get it. Sometimes we just need that time with someone else and release. That's why it's a big release, release the tension. And the beauty of it is that sometimes we don't even know that we're going through that release as we're engaging in the drawing, as we're letting things just come up and deal with them. So I'm really excited about 2026. It's been 2 years of trying to find clarity on how I'm helping people. And I feel like I'm in a place that now is just, I have the answer. Now let's just execute better with it and keep going. So I'm excited.
I love that.
There's
I'm
a lot of,
excited too for you.
yeah, there's a lot of, thank you. There's a lot of uncertainty, but it's like taking the risk because you never know what's going to happen unless you do it.
Oh, you brought up so many things that I want to talk about in short time. And I just want to say hello to Lisa as well. Welcome. We're very happy to have you here. Something I love is around this, we talked about 26 coming up. And you say, well, it's not just about your goals, it's also about your future self concept. And I think that's actually very powerful, especially if you're in business and you are building a business from scratch. And even if you're further ahead and you're the founder, I think there's something that's really important. Yes, you can hire other people in, but it's still your heart that has spread, has birthed this business. And I
Yeah.
think one of the key things we should look at maybe is not just what is our vision and goals for 26, but what is our self concept, where your offer obviously comes in perfectly for that in terms of how often do you think about how do I want to see myself in the next year? How do I want to see myself in 5 years as a woman, as a human being, as a business owner, as an employer, whatever, yeah? As a worker, whatever. How do we want to see ourselves? That goes for men too. um, you know, what would be our ideal way of being, showing up, and sharing our gifts with the world and sharing our offer with the world? I think that's a very, very powerful thing. And I love that you were saying around focus and clarity, because I think that's one of the challenges I'm facing at the moment is that I would love to say that business, and it is for some people, especially if they knew what they were doing when they came in, and it's like the same business they did in their old job, and now they're just literally taking some of those clients and keep doing the same. That might be a more straightforward line. But I think there comes a point for me, I don't know how what you felt, and Rob or Royce, Lisa in business, where I feel a little bit like start, stop, start, stop. Yes, that worked. No, that didn't work after all. Yes, this worked, but then it didn't really work. And now it's molding me this way, or the business this way. And I'm like, oh my goodness, I'm losing focus and I'm losing clarity.
Exactly. Exactly. And something that I experienced, this is why I'm updating the program based also on my experience. I sort of have like a clear uh image of what do I want to be more of. And I journal and I write and I keep writing and I have different pages and everything's all over the place. And certain things kind of like start sticking, but some things don't, because you need that repetition for your brain to start creating those new neural pathways and start forming that. And then we have habits that are so strong that they keep calling us back to being whoever we used to be. Like we might want to be more, let's just use the gym analogy. Like we want to be more fit, take care of ourselves, go to the gym, But then because if we haven't done it for years, it just keeps pulling us back. I was like, maybe next, next week, tomorrow, and it just never happens. And then we just fall off track, and we just feel guilty, and nothing ever changes. So for me, it's like, how do you create a visual that is going to be a symbol to support you in what you want? How can I help women have the symbol that can always bring them back to that vision, that can remind them, that can be sort of like a GPS? So that's the intention with the program. I am going to be working on mine. So that's a project that I have, which I'm very excited. And it's
Well,
a,
I probably need to work on mine.
yeah, it's a fun project. Once I the times that I've done it before, and I wish I had wrote some pictures, but it's a mixed media project. People play with coloring, watercolors, soft pastels, and then it's like, how do you create more? It's more about symbols. Just like self concept, this is like a conceptual portrait. It's not about making it beautiful, but like how the symbols make it into this interesting portrait. So I'm really excited about that.
And I love that. And I think it also, and Rob is saying, yes, stop, start, definitely. And Royce is saying, welcome to marketing, absolutely. But I think there's something around this is in finding ourselves in our business and in ourselves and where we want to go with that and where we want to go with ourselves. I think there is start and stuff because it's a discovery process, isn't it?
Yes. Yes, always. It's a discovery process. And the way I see it is like, there's so much to discover about ourselves, but what do we need to work on this season that is going to help on the things that we want to achieve short term? Because if we start thinking long term, there's too many things. So, what are the things that I need for the next 6 months? What are the things that, who do I need to become for the next 6 months? Who do I need to become for this new year? What are the things that I'm going to change? There's a person named Jesse Isler, and he talks about habits as well, like how can we start transforming? And he talks about like each month, just pick one habit, one thing that you want to transform. It's not about getting rid of something that we're doing, but it's like, how do you transform it? Okay, maybe you get up at 8, maybe you want to start getting up at 6 a.m. Just do that one thing. Don't worry about any other habits. So, one by one. And that's kind of like the thing that I want to bring in this portrait. Like, what are a few things that are really important? Put it in there so you can actually keep it in mind. So it's not like too much overwhelming. It's like, what are the five,
Yeah.
6 things that you want to work on in your life and that you know that you want soon enough? So,
Yeah, I love that. And it's more like a structured step by step approach rather than, all right, we can see what the dream is, but to try and just go, straight there can be very difficult for most of us.
yeah,
It's like you said, one habit at a time, one limiting belief at a time, and that will start making those bigger changes. And it doesn't always, you don't always see the result immediately. In some cases you think that is waiting a bit too long for them perhaps, but they are coming, but it's just very subtle until suddenly, the floodgates is open and we suddenly look back and we go, holy moly, I changed.
yeah. So yeah, that's it. I mean, we all need that. This program specifically for women that they're in that self-growth journey, that they know they want to be in a better place and they really want to transform themselves. I'm that person. Like, I want to
Me
transform
too.
myself, and I know there's so many distractions that keeps us stuck in the same place. Like, so if I have a symbol
Yeah.
that brings me back to it, that I know that is going to get me to do the things, start building those new habits, then I want to have it. So that's a big goal. That's one of my goals for 2026. Get this going, be able to support women with that, and at the same time go through my own transformation as well, as as a
Yeah.
business owner, as an entrepreneur, and showing that art is there also to support us in so many different ways.
I love that. I just want to say hello to Jackie Holberg. Love her. And Brad Younker is here too. We love him too. So thank you for being here. I love that. And I think it's really coming back to the fact of just going, you know what, we're on a journey. Life isn't like, okay, we come in and then we're just going to get there. And then we get there and we go, what am I doing here? It's really about going, okay, we all got a journey. We all got individual journeys in terms of working through what might have stopped us and what is stopping us through to actually who do we want to become and what are the things we have to release and change to allow ourselves to become that person and that human being and that soul that we want to be. And I think it's about empowering ourselves. Is ultimately the biggest empowering thing we can do for ourselves is to let ourselves shine by letting go of what is holding us back.
Yes, that letting go of, yeah, letting go of the old habits, letting go of the beliefs, and being able to see, becoming aware of it so we can actually start releasing it. So we can actually say, oh, that's not helping me.
Yeah. And also saying thanks to what did help us in the past, because we were in survival mode to the point where we're moving from survival to thriving, from fear based living to coming from a place of enoughness and a much more love driven based living, I call it.
Yeah. And just understanding that art can actually help with that because it's a tool. It's
100%.
just like meditation, yoga can help in different ways. It becomes a tool once used intentionally, the with that
And
intention.
I'm sure some people say, "Oh, but I can't draw. I'm not very good at it. I don't know what to do. I'm just gonna doodle and whatever." But doodle has a place too, right? And
Doodle
I
has
think,
place. I was gonna say in the program that I had before, I had women that they hadn't drawn since they were kids, but I provide a template and we go. That's why it's 8 weeks of it, and they're amazed at what they do. I'm amazed. I'm like, you sure you didn't do any art? So I think the beauty of it is also is creating it, like when you showed me you are like when you create it on your own and you look at it and I was like, yeah, I did that. That's such a good feeling. So being able to also give that, that's a big step. Yeah. And a lot of people think they can do or achieve a lot of things when it comes to drawing, but it's possible.
And I think even if people listen and go, oh, I can't do it, I'm not that into it. Well, sometimes do something you're not used to doing. Do something that's different. And that is another way of breaking out of habits of who we, this is how I behave, this is how I do things. Like, well, try something different. Try something that's outside your comfort zone. Something you think is going to be a little bit, that's for children. Well, give it a go anyway. You can always stop, but why not try something new? And maybe one of the intentions, and we're going to finish up soon, intentions for 26 for all of us, and I'd love to hear people in the comments, is to go, well, what am I going to do differently? What am I going to try that I've never tried before?
Exactly. Exactly. Actually, yeah, that would be a good intention for, yeah, the audience and to let you know. Stay accountable. Yes, we need to be trying new things. We need to be having new experience, even if it's not art, and just things for enjoyment. One of the things that I really want to do, and you know what, I should set up that as a goal, like dancing.
I mean, I always like to be a singer, but no one can listen to me singing, so we got to do that in private on my own. I just got a question. We are finishing up, but Moosey's here. Thank you, Moosey. He's got a question for you. What is one significant change art brings to your life beyond monetary achievement?
What is one significant change art brings? Well, art, I don't see art being about monetary achievement.
That's
I
a bit
feel that
more.
art is more about helping us, like it can help in so many different ways. Like when you're having a healing experiences, it's like reconnecting to yourself and being able to see things within yourself, or that feeling of achievement or that feeling of peace and clarity. And I think it's more about that. And when we feel more, when we have the clarity, when we have the peace, when we have our nervous system is regulated, like our therapy is more about dealing with trauma, when we're releasing the trauma. Because the thing about trauma is that when we're in trauma, we can't think, like we can't really use our imagination the way it's meant to be used. And in the book, The Body Keeps the Score, I can't remember the full name of the author, he talks about it. So when we release trauma, we start kind of like expanding the imagination. So there's more, we see possibility, we can start envisioning. And when we regulate ourselves and we start envisioning, we can actually make money if that's the case for someone to make. But I don't know if I answered the question, but
I
I
think
don't
there's a
see.
lot more to it. Yeah.
Yeah. What else is
And you
there?
found yourself, yeah. You healed yourself through art, and you became an artist. And you have from there you ended up also, your art is also showcased in New York. I mean, from just working through sitting down to heal, you just took it to the whole next level.
I'm here with you. I never really thought I would be an artist or teaching drawing or creating the art that I create. It's just no idea. And it just began because I engaged in art because I was feeling depressed. And it just made me feel so good in the sense that I had so much peace within myself while I was creating it. This is why I always call it my medicine, because it was the only time that I felt peaceful during that period of my life. It took me out of it. It helped me start envisioning. It was used as self-reflection. It helped me start envisioning, thinking about my future, and that's how I became an artist. Otherwise, it wouldn't have happened.
And I think it's also another way of meditating, yeah, in terms of really just
It's
allowing you
art
to meditate.
is meditation. It's a form of meditation. Is just being, well, there's different things about meditation, but it's being able to be present to the moment, especially if you're practicing coloring. There's what is called neurographic arts. That's a big form of meditation, the way art is used in that case. So depending how you use it, yeah, it can be very much meditation.
Yeah. I love that. I mean, I know I could speak to you forever, so we'll keep doing that offline. It's so
Yeah.
great to see everyone else. How can people reach out to you? Obviously, we got you on LinkedIn here, and we also got your website in the write up. So look for that to reach out to Claudia. Anything else? What's coming up? Obviously,
You
besides
know what I
Christmas.
forgot was I just created a store, but I didn't give you the link. But you can always reach out
Put
to
it in
me
the
on.
comment.
I can. I don't know how to.
All right, you can do it afterwards. Go into my LinkedIn profile afterwards. Find this one and put it in the comments there.
Yeah, because there I have the drawing classes, the community, and all those things.
Yeah. And of course, I highly recommend you. I have been going to your color classes for some couple of years now, and I still love it. I can't wait for the one tomorrow. So thank you everyone for being here. Thank you for being here, Claudia. And I always love these chats, and we'll be back next week with another guest. But thank you so much.
Thank you. I appreciate
Thank
it.
you.
And thank you for everyone that was here. Bye.